Let me begin with a simple but very important correction. Most UPSC aspirants think CSAT Quantitative Aptitude repeats the topics, but it does not. UPSC rarely repeats the chapters in a direct textbook form. It repeats mathematical families in disguised forms. A percentage question may appear as an expenditure control. A ratio question may appear as a salary comparison. A counting question may appear as a digit restriction. A set question may appear as a pass fail overlap. A spatial question may appear as a painted cube. A number system question may appear as the divisibility of a formed expression. Let me repeat once again. A percentage question may appear as an expenditure control. A ratio question may appear as a salary comparison. A counting question may appear as a digit restriction. A set question may appear as a pass fail overlap. A spatial question may appear as a painted cube. A number system question may appear as the divisibility of formed expression. And that is where serious aspirants make the first mistake. They start solving before they start recognizing. In other words, they begin calculation before identifying the question family, the hidden structure, and the logic UPSC is testing. But in CSAT Quant, the first job is not solving. Then what is the first job? The first job is classification. If you misclassify the question, you misread the structure. If you misread the structure, you waste time. If you waste time, CSAT starts punishing you even before mathematics begins. That is why today's session is not a normal important topics in CSAT Quant lecture. This is a structural lecture. Today, I want to show you how UPSC CSAT Quant can be understood through question families. Because chapter knowledge gives familiarity, family knowledge gives control, and in CSAT, control matters much more than comfort. In this context, you may have a doubt, that is why topic wise preparation on fails. Why topic wise preparation fails? Let us first understand why many serious aspirants underperform in quant. Most students prepare like this: percentages, ratio, averages, time and work, speed and distance, numbers, and geometry. This looks systematic, but UPSC does not present the paper in that school textbook order. Have to remember this carefully. Then how? Then what is the way UPSC asks the questions? UPSC uses disguise, conditions, restrictions, verbal comparison, maths plus reasoning overlap. It means structural overlap between maths and reasoning. So the students say, sir, I studied percentages, but the paper gives expenditure maintenance after the price rise. But the paper gives expenditure maintenance after the price rise. The students says, sir, I studied sets, but the paper gives pass fail overlap. The student says, sir, I studied numbers, but the paper gives remainder structure, digit restriction, or divisibility of a formed expression. This is the problem. This is the real problem. Students remember chapters, UPSC tests families. That is why one student looks at the same question and says, this is difficult. Another student looks at the same question and says, no, this is just a disguised family. The second student has structural control, and that is what we are building today. If we step back from individual chapters and look at the paper structurally, UPSC Quant can be understood through four broad operating zones. Once you understand these four zones, the paper becomes much more organized in your mind. Four macro zones. Understanding these four macro zones is most important. And inside these four zones, we repeatedly see 12 major quant families. What are they? In the part one, we have to examine what are the four macro zones of UPSC CSAT Quant as far as quantitative aptitude is concerned. That is one, zone A, that is arithmetic compression. That is what? Arithmetic comparison families. This zone includes questions where the student is comparing groups, shares, rates, changes, outcomes, or practical numerical relations. This zone includes percentage ratio proportion family, arithmetic translation family, overlap set pass or fail family, work rate schedule family, speed distance and movement family. What this zone really tests is translation, relation building, comparison control, and modeling under pressure. This is what consists of arithmetic comparison. Zone A. Zone A consists of what? Arithmetic comparison families. These are includes groups, shares, rates, changes, outcomes, etc. In this zone includes few families. Those are percentage ratio proportion family, arithmetic translation family, overlap family, that is set pass or fail family, work rate schedule family, speed distance and movement family. These are the families. Then what this zone really tests is translation, relation building, comparison control, and modeling under pressure. This is particularly tests from arithmetic comparison, that is zone A. Next we are moving to zone B, that is number logic families. What is number logic families? What it consists? This zone includes questions where the real issue is not the arithmetic size. It includes questions where the real issue is not the arithmetic size. The real issue is number behavior. This zone includes number system, divisibility, remainder family. And second one is digit formation and restriction family. And the third one is maximum, minimum, bounds, feasibility family. These three types of families under this zone, that is called number logic families. Actually, what this zone test is filters, modular thinking, restrictions, and feasibility awareness. These are testing by testing in number logic family. This zone is test filters, modular thinking, restrictions, and feasibility awareness. Then moving to zone C, that is counting and structure families. This zone includes questions where the student must handle arrangements, valid cases, restrictions, and spatial structure. Arrangements, valid cases, restrictions, and spatial structure. This zone includes what are the families? Constrained counting and arrangement family. This is the first family. Second one, visual spatial structure family. These two families are consist in counting and structure family. Actually, what this zone test is disciplined casework, structural patience, valid case counting, and internal versus external classification. What the zone is test? Disciplined casework, structural patience, valid case counting, and internal versus external classification. Then moving to zone D, that is hybrid control families. This zone includes questions sitting between maths and reasoning. Please carefully listen. This zone includes clock, calendar, day family. This type of families, clock calendar and day family. Second one, operator symbolic inequality hybrid family. These two families are there in zone D, that is hybrid control. What this zone tests is actually rule discipline, cyclical logic, symbolic control, and a calm interpretation. So, this is the first important reset, hybrid control. UPSC Quant is not one random collection of chapters. Then what? It is a system of operating zones and recurring families. Now let us go family by family. We are moving to families. There are 12 quantum families. First family, family number one, that is percentage ratio proportion conversion family. This is one of the biggest UPS families. What it consists? Recognition signal. Whenever the question compares two or more groups, shares, expenditure, salary, composition, increase or decrease, or budget maintenance, these concludes family number one, that is percentage ratio proportion conversion family. What UPSC is really testing, UPSC is not merely testing formula memory here. It is testing whether you can move smoothly between percentage, ratio, fraction, old base, new base, and a comparative share. Common disguises. This family may appear as salary of PQR, expenditure after petrol price rise, boys girls proportion, classroom composition, partnership share, reduction needed to maintain spending. Trap zones. The biggest traps here are hidden base trap, old versus new trap, percentage and a different base trap, ratio inversion trap. These are the traps. Important clarification is here the main engine is comparison, conversion, or change of share or base. This is what separates it from family number two. What is the exam hall tendency? Usually safe to moderate provided the base is clear. In CSAT, percentage is rarely a chapter. It is usually a disguised comparison system. Disguised comparison system. What are the signals? What are the disguises? What actually UPSC tests? What are the trap zones? What is the exam hall status? These are explaining in all families from family number 1 to family number 12 in simplest, easiest, understandable form. Then move to family number 2. What is this family number 2? Arithmetic translation family. Arithmetic translation family. This is another major UPSC family. What is the recognition signal? Whenever the question gives you a verbal condition and expects you to convert it into structured relations or equations, this will be automatically identified as arithmetic translation. That is family number 2. You have to identify this is family number 2 arithmetic translation. For that, you have to remember whenever the question gives you a verbal condition and expects you to convert it into structured relations or equations, when it comes in your when it appears in your exam paper, you all you have to identify this is family number 2 arithmetic translation belongs to. Then what UPSC is really testing? It testing language to structure conversion, equation framing, and relation clarity. What are the common disguises? This may appear as expenditure control, age relation, marks or pass data, profit distribution, quantitative balance, and work sharing. The average relation is stated verbally. You have to remember common disguises because these are the main identifying words to identify the families very much easily. So then it may appear as a expenditure control, age relation, marks or past data, profit distribution, quantity balance, work sharing. The average relation is stated verbally. This is the recognition signal, verbally and equations. What is the trap zone actually? The biggest dangers are translation trap, missing condition trap, wrong variable assignment, unnecessary equation overload. These are the biggest dangers. These are the trap zones as far as family number 2, that is arithmetic translation. Important clarification is here the main engine is verbal modeling. Even if the arithmetic itself is simple, that is what separates it from family number 1. The main engine is verbal modeling. Even if the arithmetic itself is simple, this is main reason from family 1 to family 2 change difference. And exam hall tendency usually moderate questions, sometimes safe is the if the language is clean. Many CSAT maths questions are not hard because of numbers. They are hard because students fail to translate words into equations. That is the main thing. Family number 3. What is the family number 3? Number system, divisibility, and remainder family. Number system, divisibility, remainder family. This is one of the most dependable UPSC families. Recognition signal is what? Whenever the question mentions divisibility, reminders, unit digit, odd even, prime composite, factor count, LCM, or HCF. When you appears these signals, you have to identify it as number system divisibility remainder family. What UPSC is really testing is modular thinking, number filters, divisibility control, number behavior. These are testing here: modular thinking, number filters, divisibility control, and number behavior. These are testing here again and again. What are the common disguises? Numbers leaving given reminders, divisibility of repeated forms like XYZ, XYZ, prime composite selection, unit digit of a large product, factors are divisors count. These are the disguise forms. What is the trap zone? The main traps are brute force calculation, missed the divisibility shortcut, factor restriction trap, not checking parity first. These traps are always using in number system divisibility remainder family. What are the main traps? Let me repeat it again. Brute force calculation. What is brute force calculation? Missed the divisibility shortcut. Factor restriction trap. Not checking parity first. What is the exam hall tendency? Often safe to moderate if number sense is strong. In UPSC, the number system is not a memory topic, it is a filter topic. That is why you have to keep an eye on family number 3, that is number system divisibility remainder. Again and again asked questions in UPSC CSE CSAT in recent times. You have to focus this family. Next, moving to family number 4, that is digit formation and digit restriction family. What is digit formation and what is digit restriction? What are the recognition signals? What are the common disguises? And what UPSC is actually tests? And what are the trap zones? What is the exam hall status? We have to discuss all these things in the family number 4, that is digit formation and digit restriction. This is one of the most structurally rich families. Recognition signal. What is the recognition signal for digit formation and a digit restriction? The family number 4. Whenever the question involves digit formation, whenever the question involves what? Digit formation, distinct digits, positions, reverse numbers, sum or product of digits, non-zero restrictions. When these are involved in the questions, you have to identify that type of questions comes under digit formation and digit restriction family. Actually, what UPSC is really testing from this family is positional awareness, restriction handling, valid counting, and number formation logic. These four components UPSC always testing from digit formation and restriction family. What they are usually supposed to ask or test, that is positional awareness, restriction handling, valid counting, and number formation logic. Then what are the common disguises? This may appear as 4-digit or 8-digit numbers, odd even position conditions, digits satisfying an equation, reversed digit forms, non-repetition restrictions. These are appeared. These are appeared from this family. What is the trap zone? The big mistakes are counting all cases, counting all cases instead of valid cases. You have to counting valid cases first. Forgetting the first digit cannot be 0. Forgetting the first digit cannot be 0. Repetition confusion, parity position misread. These are mistakes usually happened by students as far as family number 4 in UPSC CSAT CSE CSAT examination. What are the mistakes? Let me repeat it again. Counting all cases instead of what? Instead of valid cases. Forgetting the first digit cannot be 0. Forgetting the first digit cannot be 0. Repetition confusion. Parity position. Parity position misread. Exam hall tendency. What is the exam hall tendency as far as family number 4 is concerned? UPSC moderate to dangerous. Usually these are moderate to dangerous depending on restrictions. This is the actual exam hall tendency. Digit questions in CSAT are not about numbers first. They are about restrictions first. You have to identify or you have to remember restrictions as far as family number 4 is concerned from UPSC CSE CSAT Quant is concerned. Next, moving to family number 5. What is the family number 5? Overlap set, pass or fail family. A very practical and running family and a very practical and recurring family. Recognition signal. What is the recognition signal? Whenever the question involves two groups, overlap, both, only, neither, pass or fail, language or activity membership. These are the recognition signals. What UPSC is really testing is, it is testing inclusion, exclusion, complement awareness, and set control. Inclusion, exclusion, complement awareness, and set control. What are the common disguises? This family may appear as pass and fail in subjects, language speakers, shoppers versus visitors, membership across activities, one group only, both groups, neither group. These are appear in the paper. You may be identify as you have to identify as common disguises for family number 5, that is overlap set pass fail. Then what is the trap zone? What are the main traps? Double counting, forgetting the word only, mixing categories, total mismatch. These are the trap zones. What is the exam hall tendency? Usually safe to moderate if structured properly. Set questions become dangerous. Set questions become dangerous only when the student refuses to structure the overlap. This is most important point. Set questions become dangerous only when the student refuses to structure the. We are moving to family number 6. What is the family number 6? Work rate schedule family. A very UPSC style family is work rate schedule family. What is the recognition signal? Whenever the question involves work completion, people joining later, productivity comparison, alternating schedules per day or per unit completion, these are comes under work rate schedule family. These are the recognition signals. Then what UPSC is really testing? It is testing rate thinking, schedule control, staged execution, workflow management. These are testing in UPSC CSAT paper. What are the common disguises? This may appear as A and B together, workers joining later, alternating days, task completion in steps, staggered scheduling. These are appearing as common disguises for work rate schedule family. What are the traps, main traps? What is the trap zone? Time in instead of rate trap. Time instead of rate trap. Schedule order trap. Working total work basis. Solving too linearly. What is the exam hall tendency? Usually moderate, sometimes dangerous if the schedule is layered. Time and work in CSAT is often not about formulas. It is about workflow control. This is all about family number 6 work rate schedule. Then we are moving to family number 7, that is speed distance race movement family. This is typically applied family. What is the recognition signal? Whenever the question includes movement, route comparison, relative speed, trains, races, journey change, motion graphs. These are included as recognition signals in the questions from speed distance race movement family. Actually, what UPSC is really testing, it is testing speed time distance relation, that is STD, commonly known as speed time distance relative motion, interpretation precision. These are usually testing. What is the common disguises? What are the common disguises? This may appear as train crossing, circular race, delayed journey, faster journey, route based travel, graph based movement. These are comes under this. What is the trap zone? What are the biggest traps? Unit trap, relative speed confusion, graph misread, lap logic error. These are comes under this family number 7. What is the exam hall tendency? Usually moderate, sometimes safe if direct. Movement questions in CSAT are rarely long. They are usually precise. One wrong interpretation destroys the answer. You have to read the question as a speed, distance, race movement structure before solving. This is all about family number 7. Then we are moving to family number 8. That is clock calendar day family. What is a clock calendar day family? Low to moderate frequency clock calendar day family, but very UPSC specific. What is the recognition signal? Where the questions, whenever question involves weekday, day after n days, equivalent year, clock angle, clock coincidence, signal intervals, turn pages or page counts. These are comes under this clock calendar day family. What UPSC is really testing is this testing cyclical reasoning, modular calmness, time structure handling, common disguises. This family may appear as day after so many days, equivalent year calendar, turn booklet pages, clock hand angle. These are the synchronized signals. What is the trap zone? What is the trap zone? What are the main traps? Modulo 7 mistakes, month length oversight, careless clock reading, rushing a calm family. These are the main traps. What is the exam hall tendency? Safe for trained students, dangerous for untrained students. This is the exam hall tendency. You have to understand. Clock and calendar in CSAT are not formula prizes. They are calmness tests. Then we are moving to family number 9. Constrained counting and arrangement family. This is one of the most dangerous families for many aspirants. What is the recognition signal is whenever the question asks how many ways, valid arrangements, possible combinations, selections under conditions, position restrictions. These are comes under this. What UPSC really testing is disciplined casework, restriction tracking, valid count control. What are the common disguises? This may appear as circular selection, arrangement with conditions, bottle size combinations, digit placement restrictions, valid combinations only. These are the common disguises. What is the trap zone? What are the major traps? Total cases instead of valid cases, repeated counting, circular versus linear confusion, hidden restrictions ignored. Then what is the exam hall tendency? Often it is dangerous or leave for later unless the structure becomes quickly visible. Counting questions in CSAT are not solved by speed, they are solved by discipline. These all comes under family number 9. Then we are moving to family number 10, that is visual spatial structure family. What is the visual spatial structure family? What are they includes? So this includes visual counting and spatial logic. What are the recognition signal? Whenever the questions involves cubes, polygons, internal blocks, triangle counts, diagonals, figure structure, edges and corners. These are the recognition signals. When the question appears as questions consist these words. What UPSC is really testing? It is testing visual discipline, internal external classification, structural patience. Common disguises are this may appear as painted cube, internal cube, diagonals of a polygon, triangle counting, figure assembly, corner edge face structure. These are the common disguises. Then what is the trap zone? What are the main traps? Visual overload, double counting, corner edge face confusion, trusting first impression. What is the exam hall tendency? Often dangerous or leave for latter unless practiced well. Visual questions are dangerous not because they are advanced, but because they tempt careless counting. This is all about family number 10. We are moving to family number 11, that is operator symbolic inequality hybrid family. This is where maths and reasoning merge. What is the recognition signal? Whenever rules are defined, whenever rules are redefined, operators are changed, symbols are altered, inequalities must be interpreted structurally. These are the recognition signals. What UPSC is really testing is symbolic discipline, rule control, hybrid processing, common disguises. This may appear as changed operators, custom equations, inequality chains, symbol based comparison. What is the trap zone? What are the main traps? Using the normal operator instead of the defined operator. Sign direction error. Sign direction error. Overreading. Symbolic carelessness. These are the main traps. Please remember this very careful. What is the exam hall tendency? Usually moderate to dangerous, depending on density. The family is where students discover the family is where students discover that CSAT does not care whether you call it maths or reasoning. Then we are moving to family number 12, that is last family, and final family, that is max min bounds feasibility family. These questions look small, but they are often tricky. What are the recognition signals? Whenever the question asks about greatest, smallest, maximum, minimum, possible, impossible, range, feasibility under conditions. These are these are the recognition signals of family number 12. What UPSC is really testing is boundary awareness, range logic, feasibility, constraint handling. These are common disguises. This may appear as x and y in ranges. Maximum possible value, minimum possible value, possible under restrictions, impossible under conditions. What is a trap zone? What are the biggest traps? Endpoint neglect, random plugging, assuming integers without basis, ignoring feasibility. These are the trap zones. What is the exam hall tendency? Usually moderate, sometimes dangerous if layered. Bounce questions punish careless enthusiasm. The structure matters more than the expression. The structure matters more than the expression. What is the universal previous year's question model, classification model? Now let me give you one of the most useful practical tools. Whenever you study any PYQ in Quant, do not ask only one question. What is the answer? Ask four questions. That is layer number one. Which family is this? Before solving, classify the family. Then move to layer number two. What is UPSC really testing? It is translation, restriction handling, modular thinking, comparison, valid counting, and symbolic discipline. And then what is the layer number three? That is, where is the trap? Ask, where will aspirants last marks here? That is a trap. And what is the layer number four? That is most important thing. What is the exam hall status? It is safe, moderate, dangerous, or leave for later. This four layer classification system will completely change how you study PYQs. PYQs means previous year questions. Because the PYQs stop being isolated questions. They start become the pattern training material. And that is exactly how serious preparation should happen. Now let us discuss something very important. Not all solvable questions deserve early time. This is one of the biggest CSAT mistakes. That is part number 4, safe versus dangerous questions. Many aspirants think if I can solve it, I should solve it now. That is wrong. If I can solve it, I should solve it now. That is wrong. A question may be solvable but still strategically dangerous. And remember this carefully. Dangerous does not always mean difficult. Often it means time expensive. Often it means what? time expensive, condition heavy, or mentally unstable under pressure. That distinction is critical. Generally, safer early families. Generally, safer early families. These are often good starting families, depending on confidence, percentage ratio proportion, overlaps at pass or fail, basic number system filters, clock calendar, day, if trained only. Usually moderate families. The above are safer early. Usually moderate families are they require a little more control. What are they? Work rate, schedule, speed distance movement, maximum minimum bounds, digit reconstruction. These are the usually moderate families. What is the risky or later are often dangerous or leave for later families. These becomes risky if the structure is not immediately visible. Constrained counting and arrangement, visual spatial structure, dense operator, symbolic hybrid. So your job in the exam hall is not only to know mathematics. Your job is to know what is safe now, what is solvable later, and what is not worth emotional investment now. This is decision architecture. What you have to understand and have to improve and do in the exam hall. Then how to prepare after this session? Now the practical question is what should students do after understanding these families? Very simple. Do not prepare the quant only chapter wise. Prepare it family wise. That means first identify the family. Second, collect PYQs belonging to that family. And then third one is study the common disguises. And fourth one is study common traps. What are the traps? What is the trap zone? What are the biggest traps? And fifth one is the study the exam hall status. Let me explain. For example, if you are weak in the number system, do not merely solve 10 random divisibility questions. Instead, ask what are the repeated UPSC filters here? How does UPSC disguise reminders? Where does brute force thinking waste time? What is elimination enough? When is elimination enough? That is the real preparation model. This is how PYQ work becomes intelligent. This is the most important assignment you have to do before the examination. So remember this clearly. Reading comprehension in CSAT tests reading architecture. Quantitative aptitude in CSAT tests decision structure. Topic knowledge helps recognition. Family knowledge helps control. Top awareness helps survival. Exam hall judgment helps the qualifying in the paper. And that is why serious CSAT preparation is not chapter completion. This pattern recognition plus decision control. Let me leave you with one final line. What is that? Most aspirants enter CSAT Quant thinking like I should solve quickly. That is not correct. But serious aspirants enter CSAT quant thinking I should classify correctly, select wisely, and solve with control. That is the difference. And that is exactly the difference Metis wants to build. So you have to improve your pattern recognition plus decision control. Then only you can solve quant easily and you get good marks, and then you will automatically qualify CSAT, and then you will enter into mains. That is the actual battle. All the best and thank you.